All right, so this first piece is entitled Perception, and it's pretty much just my visual interpretation of, the fallacies of perception and how, we all see the world through, a predefined lens based on our, individuality, our past, our opinions, and, how that pretty much destroys any sort of, universal ideal of reality. And this next piece is entitled Caution, and it's my reaction to just the rise in crime in African-American communities here in Chicago. It was mainly sparked by the finger incident. You can kind of see the relation in the image here. And it's pretty much just a sign that warns people that, that you can't really trust your own kind. This next piece is entitled RPSS, and it came about after doing research about the policies that governments tend to place on other nations and the relationship between, the countries, and how it's pretty much like a game of rock, paper, scissors in a sense, and how they're, just pretty much kind of gambling against, who has the most power, who can throw out the biggest stick, and whoever wins gets, the land and the natural resources. This next piece is kind of my interpretation of, this idea that man is the only creature that sort of longs for a world outside of the world that we know, the physical world. So this idea of, the spiritual world, spirituality, and those type of ideas, and how these two concepts relate to each other. This next piece is entitled Perfection is Pain. And despite its appeal and its look, it's a sculpture, of course, made of clay, but it's pretty much just to show how an artist can really want their work to be, just perfect, and, the exact way that they, conceptualized it in their head, and the exact way they want it to look, and how that can hinder them and also be, a painful thing to try to get past, the painful habit to break, because it can, hinder you and make you, just lose faith in your work or lose confidence in what you're capable of, as opposed to just pushing yourself, seeing what happens, and if you make a mistake, just running with it and seeing what you can do next. A habit I had growing up. So this next piece is just my interpretation of what soldiers are in any government, and how they're pretty much just used. They seem to be glorified in ads on TV, but as a whole, they're pretty much just, a conglomeration of people who are typically just a gun being used to aim at another country to enforce the will of their government on that nation. And it's an M1911 handgun composed entirely of army men, which is pretty cool. Kind of shows that relationship. And this last piece is my reaction to the film Food Incorporated, and it's a sculpture of corn, but kind of abstract one, and it kind of shows how corn has been manipulated and has been altered, and they have strains of corn that is totally just genetically different from traditional corn, and how it's able to be turned into all these different type of things, and how it's present in many of our foods and many of the things we don't eat, like just random objects. So to sum this up, I just want to say that all these works, like their communications, benefited greatly from writing, whether it be in my sketchbook or just any form of writing, any form of research. And it pretty much, as a whole, made them, just more impactful and more concise. So, yeah, that's pretty much going to be it.